Did you know that by utilizing Excel's AI formula, you can effortlessly extract names from a list of sentences or create comprehensive tables on virtually any topic? Take, for instance, finding the top 10 countries by population. These examples merely scratch the surface of the capabilities of this function. Allow me to guide you through the process of installing it for free and introduce you to 5 of its most remarkable features designed to enhance your productivity. To install this formula, it functions as an add-in. Simply navigate to the homepage and click on Add-ins on the right-hand side. Next, proceed to More Add-ins. Once the pop-up appears under the search bar, search for ChatGPT and select the second option, ChatGPT for Excel, then click on ADD. Agree to their policy, and after a short while, it should appear on the side panel, just as you can see it now. Since I'm currently on the free trial mode, it should look identical for you. Let's dive into the first and simplest feature, Ai.Ask. The initial question prompts us to identify the CEO of Google. To do so, we simply input =AI. This command presents us with various options. Selecting Ask, we enter the query within the parentheses, which in this case is, who's the CEO of Google? You can also enclose the question within quotation marks if preferred. Upon closing the parentheses and pressing Enter, we promptly receive the answer that Sundar Pichai is the CEO. Admittedly, this question is rather straightforward. One could easily find the answer online. Now, let's tackle a slightly more complex task. Here, we're tasked with composing an email to inform our manager about rescheduling our meeting to Thursday due to our holiday plans. To present a challenge to the AI, we'll input =AI.Ask and provide the prompt within the parentheses. After closing the parentheses and hitting Enter, let's examine the output. As we observe, the AI has generated a subject line, included the manager's name as an input, and provided a comprehensive body of text. Overall, the result appears quite professional in my view. So far, everything seems to be proceeding smoothly. Now, let's pose a more Excel-specific question. For instance, we have a scenario where we need to determine the appropriate Excel formula to sum a list of values only if they exceed 10. Once again, let's employ =AI.Ask and select the provided prompt before closing the parentheses. The AI suggests using the SUMIF function, which aligns perfectly with what we had in mind. Upon further exploration, we find that it even generates the entire formula for us. This capability truly highlights the tool's potency. So that covers the first and most straightforward feature, which bears a striking resemblance to ChatGPT's functionality. Let's delve into something a bit more intricate with the AI's fill feature. Here, you'll notice a list comprising cities, their respective countries, and continents. Our aim is to extend this list further. For this task, we'll utilize =AI.fill. Begin by selecting the topmost cell and pressing the fill key. It's crucial to have the examples above, as they provide a reference for what constitutes a country and a continent. After selecting these examples, press the comma key and then identify the missing parts, which in this case are the additional cities. Once done, close the parentheses and hit Enter. Voila! You'll observe that the AI has seemingly filled in the missing cities correctly. This illustrates the utility of the fill feature. Now, let's consider another scenario where we'll employ the same approach, but this time for companies. In an attempt to discern their respective industries and headquarters, we've included a variety of companies, ranging from well-known giants like Nike and Apple to more niche players like Cervelo and Basso, known for their bicycle manufacturing. To further populate this dataset, we'll utilize =AI.fill and press the Tab key. Similar to before, we'll input the examples and select the headers. Then, separating with a comma, we'll identify the remaining missing entries. Upon closing the parentheses and hitting Enter, let's observe the outcome. Remarkably, the AI has managed to identify even the headquarters of these lesser-known companies, showcasing the efficacy of the fill feature. Moving on to the third feature, we have the Extract function, which bears resemblance to the flash fill. If you're not already acquainted with it, let's explore a feature called flash fill. Here, I have the first names and last names of individuals, and I aim to combine them. To achieve this, we can employ flash fill by typing it once ourselves. For instance, let's consider the name Joanne Smith. After typing this, I'll select the data and press Ctrl+E. This action, known as flash fill, essentially accomplishes the task of merging the names. Now, you might think to replicate this process for the phrase, "My name is Joanne Smith," aiming to extract just the name itself. However, upon attempting Ctrl+E again, you'll notice it doesn't quite work. The reason lies in the inconsistency of the data. Sometimes words precede the name, other times they follow it, making it challenging for Excel to discern a pattern. This is where the AI function comes into play. To utilize it, we'll type =ai.extract, press the Tab key, and select all the values. Separating with a comma, we specify that we want to extract just the names. After closing the parentheses and hitting Enter, you'll observe that this function performs the task flawlessly. It appears that the AI function surpasses flash fill in efficiency. Now, let's apply a similar process to extract emails. Despite the inconsistencies in the text surrounding the emails, our goal is to isolate and extract the email addresses. As you can see in the provided examples, some emails have various words before or after them, and some even have unconventional endings like .co.uk. To test the AI's capability, we'll utilize =ai.extract. After pressing the Tab key, we'll select all the values. Then, specifying that we want to extract the emails, we'll separate with a comma, close the parentheses, and hit Enter. You'll notice that the AI accurately identifies and extracts the email addresses, showcasing its effectiveness in enhancing productivity within Excel. Moving on to the fourth feature, we encounter =ai.translate, which might be considered more specialized. Nevertheless, we'll explore it before delving into the fifth, potentially the most potent feature. Here, you'll observe some English text that we intend to translate into Spanish. To accomplish this, simply input =ai.translate, press the Tab key, select the entire text as the value, separate with a comma, specify the target language, in this case Spanish, and hit Enter. Voila! The translation is promptly generated. This feature could save you time compared to using Google Translate. Moreover, to enhance functionality, we could incorporate a drop-down menu to switch between different languages. To implement this, navigate to the Data tab and select Data Validation. Choose List and input all desired languages, such as Spanish, Japanese, French, and Arabic. After confirming the selection, you'll notice that switching between languages dynamically updates the translations. Now, let's proceed to explore the fifth feature. Next up, we have the AI.Table feature. Let's examine it here. We've been tasked with creating a table to identify the 10 largest countries in the world by population. To initiate this, simply input =ai.table, press the Tab key, and provide the prompt, which encompasses the specific request. Closing the parentheses and pressing Enter generates the table. You'll notice that we now have a comprehensive list of countries with their corresponding populations, all remarkably accurate. What's more, if we wish to incorporate additional headers, we can modify the prompt accordingly. For instance, by including criteria such as continent and surface area, separated by commas. Now, let's consider a scenario where we desire structured columns. Though the initial data lacked column headers, we can introduce them manually. Imagine we want a list of 10 random people rather than data from the internet. For this task, we can also utilize ai.table. After pressing the Tab key, we specify the prompt, a list of 10 people. Now, we can incorporate the headers, which are the options listed above. Selecting all of them and closing the parentheses, we hit Enter. Remarkably, the table is constructed accurately. The entries appear to be first names, while the subsequent ones seem to be last names. Similarly, the ages are within reasonable limits, with no outliers, such as a 150-year-old. Before we wrap up, it's worth noting that, in my experience, this function may not perform as effectively with larger datasets. For instance, if you're requesting data for 10,000 people, the results may not be as accurate. If you're interested in discovering more super useful add-ins, be sure to check out the video linked here. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content. Until next time.